As part of this lecture, let's go to the details about order of execution of query. When it comes to writing query, we typically start with the select clause, then we specify all the column names, then we use the from clause. In the from clause, we specify the tables. Typically, we use one table, but sometimes we might use more than one tables if we wanted to use joins. As of now, as we haven't gone to the details with respect to joins, ignore joins. Assume that as part of from clause, we specify table name or subquery. Then in case if you have to filter the data, we use where clause, and as part of where clause, we specify the conditions. Then if we have to group the data by keys, we use group by clause. If we have to sort the data, we use order by clause. As per the syntax, this is the order in which we specify different clauses to write query. You have to start with select, then from, then rest of the others. But when it comes to execution, it doesn't execute in the same order. The order of execution is different from order of writing the query. Before getting into the order of execution of the query, let's understand how the query is typically executed. First, the query which is written using select from, where, group by, order by, etc. will be compiled into low-level code. Then the low-level code will be executed to process the data as per the logic in the query. The data from the table will be read into the memory of the server in which database is running. Then it will start processing the data. So when it comes to order of execution, it will start with the from clause. As part of from clause, we'll have table or view or subquery. Whatever we have, based on that, the data will be read from tables into the memory. Once data is read from tables into the memory, then it will apply the conditions in where clause. If table have 1000 rows, all the 1000 rows will be read into the memory. Once all the 1000 rows are read into the memory, then based on the conditions in where clause, data will be filtered and intermediate results will be staged again in memory. For example, if where condition return 3 records, those 3 records will be placed in memory. Or if where condition return 100 records out of 1000, those 100 records again will be stored in the memory. So whatever data that is filtered will be made available to us in memory. After where clause, it will execute whatever is there in group by. Typically, as part of group by, we specify the keys on which data is supposed to be grouped. In the select clause also, we specify those columns, and also we might have aggregate functions in select clause. Along with executing the logic in a group by, it will also take care of executing whatever is there in select clause. Both will be executed simultaneously because many times there will be dependency between the two. So after group by, it will typically execute select clause, or it can execute select clause at the same time. Then finally it will sort the data. Again, after grouping the data by the key and performing the aggregation, we'll get some output. That output will be preserved in the memory. That output will be sorted because of order by. So finally order by will be executed. Then it will return the results as per the logic. This is how the query will be executed. Now let's come up with a query here. In this case, I'll be getting the count of orders grouped by order date, where order status is in complete or closed. When it comes to order by, we'll actually say count in a descending order. Let's go through the logic and then we'll take it further. In this case, I'm going to get the data from orders, and hence let me say orders in the from clause. Here, I would like to get only those orders whose status either in complete or closed. As part of select and group by, I have to specify the key based on which data is supposed to be grouped. In this case, I would like to group the data by order date. Let me say order underscore date. This is the key based on which data is supposed to be grouped. Here, either we can say order underscore date or group by 1. That is why I am saying both select and group by will almost execute simultaneously after executing the where clause, because we can actually use the columns in a select clause using position like this. When I say position, I am talking about position in a select clause. Typically, as part of select clause, on top of columns based on which we wanted to group the data, we also will end up having the aggregate functions. In this case, we are trying to get the count of orders by date, where order status is either in complete or closed. We can specify the alias like this. The alias for count is nothing but order underscore count. Again, as part of order by, either we can specify the column name or expression or alias or column position. In this case, let me say order by 2, then DESC. As part of group by, we will not be able to specify aliases related to aggregate functions or aggregate function itself. Only the keys are supposed to be used as part of group by, but as part of order by, we should be able to sort the data based on any column, and hence we can specify any column either by position or by name or even by alias. This is how we typically write the query. Also keep in mind that when it comes to select clause where we have the key based on which data is supposed to be grouped, we can also have derived columns such as order underscore month, where order underscore month is nothing but year and month part of the date. Even when we use derived field, when we specify the position of that here, it will automatically group the data based on the logic to derive order month. That being said, now let's run this. You see the query have ran and you can see the results here. Data is sorted in descending order by order underscore count. Now, when it comes to the execution of it, first it will read the data related to orders into the memory. Then it will apply this condition. Once it apply this condition, out of 68,883 records in orders, we get close to 30,000 records. Those 30,000 records will be preserved in the memory. Then it will take care of performing the group by operation, and also it will try to get the count. You will hardly get 364 records once you group the data by date and get the count. Those 364 records also will be stored in memory. Finally, data will be sorted based on the field that is specified as part of order by. Even that output will be stored in memory and then it will be returned to us. So when it comes to order of execution, it is nothing but the from clause, then where clause, then group by and select mostly at the same time, or it might execute group by first and then it might get into the select clause. Then finally it will execute the logic that is there as part of order by. Understanding this order of execution is very, very important. Because of this, there will be some restrictions when it comes to writing the queries. I'll talk about those restrictions in the next lecture.